So I guess let's jump in, let's take a look, let's figure out what's going on. Ah, right. Yeah, I just got through, cringy. It wasn't cringy. It was something else. I just did this thing. This went well. What was this? I remember the dev was in here telling me what this anagram did too, and I don't remember what he actually said. Alright. Anyway. There's a lot of fire noises. Why are there so many fire noises? Alright, well, anyway, I did the thing in here, which is great. Let's do my notes have information about what's left to do? Do you think I was good enough to take notes about, where I am going to be going next? I guess it's all these torch noises. The torches have noises. Okay, yeah. This is, the folly. Oh, there's more to do here, actually. Like, I did that thing, and that was helpful. Okay, the notes. But I didn't figure out what I was supposed to do with this mess. Because I didn't figure out, what each of these things is associated with. Also, I am still missing one of the tablets. So there's a bit more walking around to do. And yeah, there's this stuff to do. Dragging things to suns. Okay, yes, that was a puzzle that I haven't finished. And I need to find the sage tablet somewhere. The catacombs, the fox specter, that's not a real thing. That's not actually a puzzle. This stuff we actually figured out. It kind of came together for that. That's done. This is done. Oh, I never looked up the cipher. I was going to do that. All right, well, that's maybe a thing that we could spend some time on this stream if we have time later. But I'm not going to worry too much about it. And yeah, there's more to be done here, and I don't know how to do it. This is like kind of covered in like a green patina. Like a green moss over something that's like a golden inlay. Turns out it doesn't help. This is just green. What is going on here? Oh, I need to do that. That's what's going on here. But yeah, I don't know the order of these. Like, I have information here that indicates an order, right? Accuser, then deceiver, then one that fled. Regret, then the king, then the one who is exiled. But I don't know which of these three things are associated with which of the three, I guess. Like, there should be something. I'm guessing because this one requires, maybe it's the ones that are associated with the different, torches? Like, I needed to use the pink torch to do all of this stuff, and I needed to use the blue torch to do all of this stuff, and then I needed the green torch in order to see this. So maybe that's supposed to indicate some kind of relationship between them. But, like, I could guess that the sage is the green torch, but between the blue torch and the pink torch, I don't know whose is whose. If they, like, this is, yeah. The reference is Hesperane. That's the Flash. And the Ruby Charm references, the Swans. Not that I remember their name. And of course, the silver pendant with the green torch. With, Samik's a fox head insignia embossed on the front. Should I know that there is an association between Hesperane and one of the three, or between the swan and one of the three? That doesn't feel real. There was a story leading up to obtaining the necklace, right? This one, Far and Alone, Beyond These Walls, was the story that gave me the information about obtaining the Hesperane's necklace. Since the couple in this one used it to escape Hesperane's woods. Do I have any information about that couple? Enacting vengeance upon a spirit. Like, they talked about Hesperane, but yeah, neither of the people involved in this are any of the three. The very tool that guided us, draining the life from my beloved every step of the way. Pretty sad. Which I guess makes sense for the spirit of sorrow. Still missing a story in Unmasking. Still missing a story in Eternicide. Yeah, a bunch of stuff that I missed and maybe need to go back to. One in Eternicide. Only one? Only one. 2 in the Fracture. 1 in Unmasking. 4 so far. I love that. Amerolam, that's the swan's name. 1 in Myriad for 5. And then 3 here in Trepaeum. Which does not quite fit the number of lore articles the book says is left. But alright, none of that gets me any closer to figuring out the order of the 3. So, I guess we're done here. Oh, surely one of these is missing the thing. This has got to be where the sunlight is. No? No? Disappointing. I finally made it across to here, so that was good. But that's fully resolved. I don't need to do anything with that anymore. Okay, that's good. So, at some point, I do need to walk back up to the top of the ziggurat, because I think there will be more plot there. I think there will be another interaction with Samik. And I could just head that way and hope to find the thing. This is one of those shrines? Broken shrine. Yeah, I'm fairly confident I got everything I needed to do out of the shrines. Don't need to go over there. So where do I need to go next? There is one more place I need to go because it has stuff I can drag around. There is one more place with like part of a laser puzzle that's gonna have like little suns written down because of the... Whoa! Samika's just hanging out over here? How long is... I didn't expect that. That was really not a thing I expected. What's the city doing? Don't need to get up there, I don't think. I think I have done everything I need to do here. Okay. So... do I just head to the city then? Maybe. I don't really have a better plan right now. Guess I could just head into the courtyard. Yeah, so there needs to be one more thing like this that I haven't resolved yet. Somewhere. So the fact that I have one here, to me implies... I don't remember where the other one was. I bet you it was in Fortress Ruins. 7 letters, I've done that one. Does this go to Fortress Ruins, or does this go back to the Tangle? Man, I wish I could remember how this map worked. I think this just goes back to the Tangle. I think if I want Fortress Ruins, I go the other way. Yep. So we'll go the other way to search Fortress Ruins, because I think that's going to have the second piece, the one that I've already done. So does that mean that the third piece is in the Tangle? Let's confirm that the second piece is in the fortress, though. Just double check this one real quick and make sure that the thing is what I think it is. And then we can figure out what the next step is. Because once I resolve this, there's not a whole lot left that I know I'm supposed to do. So it's probably just go to... Yeah. It's probably just go to the ziggurat. Nothing here. Okay. Nothing here. Okay. Nothing up there. Okay. Maybe it wasn't in the Fortress Ruins? Big if true. What is your deal? What are you looking at? Like, should I be triangulating here? Nothing here. Nothing here. Wow, maybe it's not in the fortress ruins. I was so sure. There's an eye here? What is this supposed to be pointing at? I mean, I did see the, like, go in and out of that door. We've already done that. That's not a problem. Maybe it was somewhere in one of these areas? I already dealt with all of this. Did I do this? Sure did. The fox's light reveals the way. Fox is watching. Always watching the fox. Oh, this was the second one. Okay, so the second one is here in the fortress ruins. It's just inside the fortress area, not anywhere else. Not like in the outer area of the fortress ruins. Okay, good, good, good. That was important. That was the thing that I was looking for. So now I found the thing that I was looking for, which is helpful. It's a good thing I've already gotten screenshots of everything there. Hang on. Hold. Interesting. The flash disappears if I switch into magenta. Okay. Samik really does love drawing eyes on things. But alright, no big deal. Not my problem. Just Samik things, I guess. So where do I think the other set of suns is gonna be? If it's probably not in Fortress Ruins, maybe... Was there any laser puzzles in... There was one in the Tangle. Somewhere in the Tangle. Let's see if I can find that. That would be helpful. The fox is watching. Yo, really? Better give him a good show, I guess. This is not what I'm looking for. I am looking for the exit. Where is the exit? Please show me the exit. Here we go. So this will take me back to the Tangle. Although it'll be on the far left side of the Tangle. Which is maybe not where I need to be? I don't know where I need to be is the problem. This place is a mess. Bit of a maze, really. Somewhere over here, I think it was like close to the far right side, there was a place where you were supposed to drag some lasers around. I feel like that might be the thing that I am looking for. I suppose we shall see. Really? Oh, yeah. How to solve the orb puzzle if you haven't already solved the orb puzzle. Fox is watching. Fox is still watching. Here. Yeah, here. Aha! This was correct! Sweet. So that's why there's a block there, because there's 3 suns. S blank blank L blank blank. Alright. So, if I combine that with the other 2... I get S-I-A L... Is that a P? PR. Cool. The last unmasking story. Which is... the story of... the sage, what's her name? Approaching, Kellyman, maybe? Or maybe this is just lamenting that Kellyman succeeded or whatever. A raven soars through stormy skies, all the world a churning sea. Lightning flash, the raven dives, and it drowns. He was right. He was right! I always am. He's going to live in my head forever. What is the point of any of this? What did I really... It's rigged. Of course it's rigged. Why did I ever think for a moment that I was doing anything he didn't want me to? It's because you're very conceited. That I could... He only let me wish for immortality because he knew a human mind couldn't handle it. We're not built for this. I've lost track of how long it's been. The book. The tome. I found my proof. He can manipulate it. Since the start, he's always been able to hide any knowledge that he wanted from me. Of course he could. I knew that from the start. So why did I did what I had to. I'm sorry. It was an ancient passage, a treasured, abhorred secret of the Volmeri, something Antigone risked everything to show me long ago. I finally found it again in this accursed tome, and it was wrong! I wanted more context. I wanted answers! I wanted to... Stop. He can't know this isn't over. Get a hold of yourself. But there was nothing. The hints I was chasing, edited out, redacted. He's been laughing this whole time, waiting for me to find out. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry! Never meant for any of this! I didn't know. Yes, I did. I'm sorry. Now all of this suffering I caused was for nothing. No! This isn't done. Get it together. Right. Right. I'm sorry. I can't just give up. There's still... I'm sorry. This was always what it would take to overcome the fox. Think like the fox. Act like the fox. Become the fox. Never. Schemes within schemes. This is a setback, nothing more. Just one step on the path. I have more plans, more schemes, more... I'm not done. It's fine. I'm sorry. Wow. That was a lot of writing. And I'm not convinced that I understood any of it. But hey, I found the thing I was looking for, so that's good. That's the important part here. So that is this covered. At some point, I'm going to need to find that third tablet. But that could be literally everywhere, anywhere. So I guess it's just a matter of walking around forever until I find it. Until I find the appropriate, like, mark. to indicate where it is, which is kind of awful. Maybe at some point I'll ask chat to Google it for me. Is there anything down here? I guess that's checkable. Here. Doesn't look like anything's here. I got a offering there, I guess. Not sure what I got there. Something cool. That's already resolved. I think it's just wander back into the city now. Wander up to the ziggurat. Unless I think I know where I can find that third tablet piece. That is kind of tenuous. It's going to be under something, right? The other two were under things. Under a bridge. Under another bridge. Maybe there's a third bridge that I can wander under and it'll be under that bridge? Which bridge do I think it's under? How many more bridges are there? Fascinating that this doesn't have anything unique associated with it. Yet another, like, word game puzzle, kind of, but nothing there this time. Nothing there with the fox light. Alright. Let's head to the ziggurat then, because I really don't know what else is out here. Yup. Up to the ziggurat for a third time. See if that changes anything. Like, I don't have a strong sense that this is going to change anything, but... Yeah, Athanasia, we've been here. Oh. There's the orb. Alright, and once again, teleports to this section with... The letters are all gone now. No letters for anybody. And Samik's up here. So yeah, another visit to Samik here. Let's chat, I guess. Kick me out again? Where do you send me now? Once more straight to the outer gate. The fox continues to watch. Oh, now there's footprints. Okay. There they are. Alright, I guess we'll follow the fox. I certainly don't have any strong sense of anything better to do at this point. They're facing this way. Yeah, there you go. Fox turned around. Yeah, this was not here before I warped. Okay. I don't know where we're going, but we are being led on a merry chase. Over to Moonglade Lake, sure. Through here, okay. The footprints on water, okay. We're just taking a tour here, aren't we? We're just going everywhere. Okay. Yep, here we go. Are we just going in circles? Surely not. No, now we're playing Follow the Fox. Which I'm sure is very different from the thing that we did last time. Probably. Where could this possibly go? Oh? Hi, Samik. There you are. I've been looking forward to talking again. I do wonder why you took such a meandering path to get here. Listen, you family circused your way all over hell and creation, okay? Don't put this evil on me. But I suppose I should be satisfied you tracked me down at all. Can't expect you to be too terribly clever after all. Although I see that you have been tinkering with these shrines. That's the kind of curiosity I can surely commend. They're quite impressive, aren't they? They're my design, of course, though the trappings may deceive you. Yeah, they do have a lot of wolf associated with them. You see, the old queen, you know the one, made a particularly nasty little wish. She never truly trusted the first boon I gave her to hold forever. And she was the queen, after all, so she claimed a simple, devastating contingency. I am the last and eternal ruler of Artahk. I bear no heirs and yield to no one. If I should die, let the throne never again be filled, and let the city be abandoned, for no other can be trusted to take my place. Insecurity made manifest. Even the perfect queen bore a fatal flaw. When her time came, I called in a favor to get the job done. It's quite easy to summon the wolf when you know what you're doing. And what better way to ensure this place was abandoned than to call down wrath itself upon it? Well, I'm glad that the fox is talking to us, at least. That's a step in the right direction. Maybe. But I had to be certain it would stay abandoned forever, you see. And I wasn't keen on sharing my den. We spirits, we're a bit too much for your kind to handle. Our presence is overwhelming, our very being warping the world around us, or at least your perception of it. An aura of power. Betelroth is a putrid, vile beast. His aura is stronger than any other, and would have lingered here for decades, perhaps centuries, just from the destruction he wrought. But that isn't forever. And so, think of the shrines throughout the city as needles, to simplify things in a way you'll understand. Each drew little pricks of blood from the wolf as he raged, too little for him to notice, but enough to leave a stain. enough to carry his aura for as long as that stain remains. Ah, but look at me, talking your ear off while you have important work to attend to. The curse isn't your problem. The stars are your concern, yes? I'll leave you be for now. But come find me when you're ready to talk again, won't you? I quite enjoyed this little chat. Well, then. Alright. Alright. The fox is watching. So now we have another place. Fox is watching. From what? Hungering Shrine? I think this is Hungering Shrine. Five stream streak! Nice, Senna. Alright, and we have an H1. Uh-oh. I'm gonna say 1H, because I like that better. We have what is probably I6. We have this D over here that doesn't seem to have a number associated with it. But we have an E2 and an L5. 2E, L5. S3. Does that make D4? Let's assume it's D4. So that means HESDLI. Yup. Shield. The tome hums and glows with magical power. The entry, you know, has been unlocked in the story serial Tropeum. What do I think Tropeum is a anagram for? That's a long word. Do I think it's an anagram? Anagram solver, go! Tropeum. No, actually. It doesn't seem like it is an anagram. The best I can get out of these 8 letters is a 7-letter word, tempura. This is probably not tempura. See? I'm a spirit of my word. Lying has never been my game. Surely you must now be put at ease by the comfort of uncovering this passage on your own terms. Perhaps even thrilled by the incredible journey you took to get here, instead of having me simply give it to you. Ah, but no, you're still unsettled by the fact that I'm addressing you directly. Aren't you, Serena? We have a name for my character. Okay, who's Serena? I don't think I've seen that before. Have I seen Serena in one of the other dialogues? In one of the other stories? Interesting. That's not normally how this little exchange is meant to work. There's nothing I can do about that part, I'm afraid. Regardless, let's get back to the question at hand. You not being a corpse right now. For that matter, if you've been paying any attention at all, you ought to have an even more immediate concern. How are you still sane right now? Are you sane? Because that's the blight here, you know, if you weren't following before. An evil that pervades the air, spreading from those innocent little shrines, sinking its teeth into all the poor souls that venture within these walls. Corrupts the mind, makes them think friend is foe, or that they're gods and kings, or that everyone is out to get them. I doubt the old queen would be happy to see it in action, but it is what she wanted. I'm fine, of course, thank you for your concern. If the old wolf were truly here still, perhaps there would be some trouble, but his aura alone means nothing to me. Nor does it to you, does it? Isn't that curious? Why do you think it is that an omnipresent psychological attack runs right off you like rain? Wow, okay, so we have some confirmation that the main character is actually immune to this aura, whatever it is? I think we both know the real answer, at least if you're as clever as you seem to be to have made it this far. But she clearly wants to believe she's being subtle, so I'll play coy. Maybe it's your sheer willpower. That determination that makes you throw yourself blindly at this twisted labyrinth of a city time and time again, with no real idea of what you're doing. Is that what keeps your mind from withering? Or perhaps it's something about this book that keeps you safe. Could it be that a very handsome fox is shielding you, so that he can watch you struggle for his own amusement? Maybe your head was simply already filled with teeth. Is that like the in-world equivalent of dumb as a bag of rocks? The reason doesn't really matter in the end, does it? You're still here, you're still fighting, and you won't give up until somehow, some way, you bring the light back to this world. Honestly, it's adorable that you don't seem to see how futile it all is. You're free to leave at any time, you know, but I'm sure I'll see you again soon. What did you think you were doing? Was Serena in one of the early stories? I feel like Serena might have been here for some of these Rot and Decay stories. This is Aaron and Melora. Neither of these are Serena. Serenio, it's you! This is Solomon, along with 2 sages. Who were the additional sages? Ermond, Eloran, and Archemi Talus. None of whom are Serena. This is unnamed. A small army led by a determined young warrior. Yep, no name here. Well... yeah, I don't think I have seen that name elsewhere. Well, okay, that's great. That's super helpful. Thanks, Fox. Oh, now there's more footprints to follow. All right, well, I'll keep following footprints. I got nothing better to do. Yeah, that really is how it is, huh? That's where we're at. But sure, lead me in circles again, Samik. That sounds great. As roundabout as a path as possible, please. It really is gonna take me literally everywhere just to rub it in. All right. so where are we going here? Are the footsteps just gonna go all the way back up to the ziggurat? I guess that's not unreasonable. Nope, not quite. Okay. The royal parterre, sure. Oh my god, are we gonna go through the shortcut? No, okay. Down. Alright, so I see them over there. Oh, here, okay. I was like, do I have to go through the maze again? Not up there. Just across? Yeah, cross and down there. This way, okay. Oh, that's new. Okay, cool. Hi, Samik, how you doing? Picked a heck of a room. Good. I knew you'd come. Surprised to find an entrance to the ziggurat back here? I'd have saved you a lot of time running around after that lens. Oh, running around after that lens? What do you mean back here? Yeah, okay, whatever. Or maybe you did look for it when you passed through, hoping to follow Acrylon's footsteps. It doesn't matter. Where are we now? Used to be my tomb. This cramped, dusty, featureless cell is where that rotten snake sealed me away for all those years. It was agony. But I knew it wouldn't last. It never does. All I had to do was wait for the right fool to come around looking to bargain, and she played the part perfectly. Do you know why I stayed here, in a prison I loathed? Do you know why I bound the wishes to such strict procedure? If you've ever wondered, you're doing better than most. Asking the right questions is often more important than the answers they bring. I don't think that's true, but I appreciate that you seem to think that's true. Not that I plan to give you such answers, mind you. Where would be the fun in that? I will give you this. There is a reason for it. And there are questions you aren't asking. Come find me again when you're finished here. I can humor this arrangement a little longer. You haven't quite bored me yet. Great. Oh. Okay. Sure. So that's GLAE LYOR. GLAELYOR. GLAELYOR. What is this an anagram for? I'm really bad at anagrams. It's kind of impressive, honestly. All right. Let me tell you a story. This is what this thing is really meant to be used for, after all. Once upon a time, there lived a colony of ants. Oh, I feel like I've heard this story. They made their home not far from the den of a wily fox. Come on, Samik. You can save the self-flattery. Now, the fox had every right to stamp them out. They were intruding on its territory, after all. But in an act of great benevolence, the fox let them be. It sat and watched them go about their work in amusement. However, the fox grew bored before long. All the ants did was run the same routes, gathering food, no ambition beyond basic survival. The fox tried putting obstacles in their way, interfering with their food supply to force some modicum of creativity out of them if they were to avoid starvation. Yet this too became stagnant in time. So, the fox decided it was done with the ants, and dug a channel from the nearby river to flood the colony and kill them all. But even with their home destroyed, some of the ants managed to survive. And the fox found itself entertained again, watching them struggle against the odds to rebuild a new colony from nothing. When their work was through and their new home flourished once more, the fox would knock them down again, finding new and exciting ways to return them to the brink of annihilation, so that it could watch them start anew. Yet once again, the fox would grow bored. This time, it tried something new. It separated the survivors in the aftermath of the latest apocalypse, leading them to form two different colonies as they rebuilt. The fox was pleased. A whole new world of possibilities had opened. It watched as the colonies grew large enough to discover each other, starting to trade and work together. Then, at the fox's behest, resources became scarce, and all too easily the colonies were at each other's throats. The fighting was glorious, and in time, they destroyed each other all on their own. Once again, the fox split the survivors, and before long the whole glade was filled with different colonies. They worked together, they squabbled, they formed alliances, they waged wars. The complexity of this ever-shifting network thrilled the fox at first. It would whisper in their ears, choosing sides and pitting them against each other, changing its allegiance on a whim. It would teach one colony to build with wood instead of dirt, only to teach another how to start fires. The potential of this new arrangement seemed limitless. Yet, even this would stagnate in time. Are you getting the point yet, ant? I would hope so. That tale is barely even metaphorical. You're just entertainment to me. All of your kind. You only persist because I find your worthless little lives more amusing than snuffing you out entirely would be. Except, you ceased to entertain me on your own a long, long time ago, so I had to take up the strings myself. And you might wonder why I hate you so, but you misunderstand. I don't hate you. I love you. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. Textbook abusive fox. I love to savor your struggles, watch you overcome impossible odds, only to fall to tragedy and plummet back into the pit of despair. I would be nothing without you. Try to imagine for a moment what it would be like to live forever, alone at the top for the rest of time, with no one to truly challenge you. To walk this world for 10,000 years, 10,000 times over. It is so utterly, maddeningly boring. Can you really blame me for making my own fun? And you might call me cruel for all this, I do. But the truth is that you just don't like being the subject of it. You've been reading countless stories from this very book with your eyes glued to the page. Were you not eagerly awaiting the next entry of Acrylon's journal, despite knowing it had to end in failure? Were you not intrigued by Menevir's rise to power, because of, the suffering she faced along the way? You've been enthralled by this tome, these stories, even though every tale is drenched in tragedy and misfortune. I would know. I caused most of it. It's all just a matter of perspective in the end. I don't expect you to understand mine. I'm not certain you could. It's fine, truly. That hatred, that disgust, it just makes your strife all the sweeter. I actually love being hated. I think this is a good thing. All that considered, you think you have your answer now, yes? That you're still alive purely because I find it amusing to watch you scurry around in futile pursuit? There's certainly some truth there, but it's not the whole story. I've still got a little more to tell. Though make no mistake, I have been watching you. From the moment you entered the city, I've had my eye on you, always lurking just outside your lacking perception. You didn't really think you could hide anything from me, did you? What are we hiding from the fox? Are we hiding something from the fox? What do you think we're hiding from the fox? Do you think we're hiding something from the fox? Like, successfully? That would be cool. Why is exactly this one eye here off center from the rest of them? Like, there's diagonals down here, but this one in the same row has a vertical and a diagonal one. I wonder if that's just how the eyes look. Might just be how the eyes look. All right, well, let's go following the fox, shall we? Are there more footsteps? I don't see any more footsteps. Maybe there'll be footsteps over here. This is the last place we saw footsteps. Nope, nothing. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, no. No more leader to follow. Oh, nope. Never mind. Found him. Did I just not have... I just didn't have the torch on. Yep, that's on me. We saw footsteps on water before. So that going straight up is a little... Footsteps here? Okay, footsteps here. Go this way, sure. I guess we'll just keep following the fox, right? Like, this is where plot is, I suppose. It's kind of weird for there to be actually plot in this game, as opposed to just lore. There's been so much lore. Uh-oh, did I miss? Nope, there it is. We're good. Everything's fine. Gonna go running around in circles some more, huh? Ah, not that far. What's up, Mersh? We're following foxes around. Dagger? Should I just talk to the fox? There's other stuff going on here. I mean, I guess I could just talk to the fox. But, like, what about the other stuff? You know? Oh. Well, I guess we're just talking to the fox. Alright. And here we are again. For the last time, I think. I've strung you along long enough. I do have more important things to do, you know. Do you? Do you? You've just complained about how bored you are with all of eternity stretched out around you. You are absolutely gagging for anything to distract you from the infinity of time that is ahead of you. More important things to do. Give me a break. What's going on here? This is Samik. Mershana meets Samik. Samik, Mershana. Samik is the trickster fox god. I suppose you do too, even if it's a useless endeavor. Still, it's been nice to have a pawn to string along again. Absolute victory grows more dull than you might imagine. Oh, I've had many over the years, far too many to count even within Artahk's time. You ought to know my favorite by now. We'll get to her soon. But do you know the one I loathed the most? Kaliman. Really? Interesting. Why didn't you like Kaliman? I guess Kaliman was too easy? What a slog she was. frail little fire-headed whelp that could barely handle the most simple of tasks. All she had to do was take up the knife and kill the queen. But she needed to be prodded every single step of the way. I much prefer to keep my playthings on a leash, not play marionette. It still got the job done in the end. Not that I was ever in doubt. That's not a feeling I've ever known. Okay, keep telling yourself that. It's almost a shame, though. This lake used to be so beautiful under the starlight. Can you imagine it? No, I suppose you can't. I'll leave you to your task with the answer I promised. Don't come looking for me again. Understood? I'll find you when the time is right. Well, that's that, I suppose. So now we follow the chain of footsteps? Is this the start, do we think? V, E, R, I, N, E, N, E, T. Yeah, it does start with a V. Alright, that's long enough, I gotta write it down. Alright, starting with V. V-E-R-I. E-R-I. N-E-N-E. N-E-N-E. T. Alright. The word is very nenet. The answer. I made this little book of yours, you know. Even to a great spirit as I, it hurts to see something you put so much thought into carelessly regifted to another. Though I find the fact it was given to you utterly fascinating, considering the state of the previous owner. She never liked to admit how much we had in common. You've read about her at least a little by now, I'm sure. She snuck her way into almost as many of these tales as I have. She was one of my favorite pawns, the sage that helped me pull all of this off. If you have an issue with the current state of the world, you can take it up with her. The wishes were her idea, after all. She was willing to sacrifice anything in the name of her own goals. A true kindred spirit, if I've ever known one. It's why I let her run free. In the desperate hope that maybe, with just a little nudge in the right direction, someone could finally truly surprise me. Oh, she hates me, of course. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's a powerful motivator, and a blinding one. She was so hell-bent on taking me down, on not playing into my schemes, that she never stopped to consider why I hadn't ever touched the garden myself. Okay, and we now know that the teal text is the sage. The sage, I guess, interjecting in the same way that the fox interjected? So maybe the sage is, like, trapped in the book? Or maybe the sage is now a spirit that can interact with the book from the outside? Interesting. This is a private conversation, my dear. Sorry about that. She won't be able to interrupt again. In all this time, she hasn't changed nearly as much as she'd like to think. Herein lies the answer to your question. It's quite a simple one. Why have I let you live this long? Because you aren't my pawn. For the first time in an eternity, you're a piece that someone else put on the board. And I am so very, very interested to see what she has planned. Does it frustrate you? To stand there knowing you're just an insignificant means to an end, caught between the two powers that really matter here? That history won't even remember your name if you do somehow prevail? Or maybe you don't care. She must have chosen you for a reason, after all. Either way, I don't expect you to give up at this point. But you should know, Artahk really is some of my finest work. A perfect puzzle with no solution, forged in dreams and bound by stardust. You're throwing yourself against a locked door that has no key. But if you understand anything I've been telling you, you should know that such a thing is anathema to my nature. A game's no fun if there's no way to lose. So press on, little torchbearer. It's been a pleasure, but I'll leave you be for now. We'll meet again when you figure this whole thing out. I'll be looking forward to it. Who is she in this passage? I'm not actually sure. At least one of the she's is the sage, who was the previous owner of this book, and one of the 3 people that are credited with the founding of Artahk. But I don't know if all of the she's are references to the sage. Yeah, it implies someone is working against the fox, which the sage has been for, you know, as long as the sage has known about the fox. The sage has been working against the fox, although using the fox's own power to do so, which is a little... The writing of the fox is so obnoxious it runs past entertaining. It is a lot, for sure. But it's unclear whether or not the person that the main character is a pawn of is the same sage. The implication that the sage did something with the garden is a little worrisome. And if so, that would mean that the sage has probably done some terrible things to herself. I mean, that is what we know to be true based on unmasking, right? We have all of this grows and grows and grows from the garden. So the sage became part of the garden, maybe? Or the sage came to the garden and merged with it, using her eternal life to, like, do something in the garden separately from what usually happens to people with the garden, which is they die. Calumet is definitely not the sage. No, the sage is not Antigone. It's... Oh, we saw her name briefly. Have I solved that green text? There's a cipher. I don't know what the cipher is. I know that the sage's name, Aliametra, is a key to the cipher. And I haven't bothered to go Googling how to solve it. Like, what the actual cipher is. But I do have the key to it. So we're, you know, somewhat close, presumably. Well, interestingly, I am now at 90 of 90, and there is at least 4 pieces of text missing. Not going to solve it myself. I mean, it sounds like it's fairly plug and play. And while the... Oh, the fox is still around here hanging out. While the information in it is probably relevant to my interests, it's kind of a... I don't know, it feels like it would be a bit of a slog to kind of go through and figure out how to do it. Because it's not just like a substitution cipher. I've done plenty of those on stream before. I don't know what the cipher is. Some other kind of cipher that you have to apply a key to. Like, I want to know what it says, but for some reason, figuring that out feels like a step too far compared to all of the other things I've done in this game. I don't know why. Where does this go? I've done this before, but where does this go? Oh, to here. Okay. And I guess with that being the end of the Fox's little hide-and-go-seek game, I'm well and truly out of direction. Other than knowing that I am looking for at least one thing out in the world. And knowing that I am looking for, what is this? I've done this. Whatever this is, I've done it. Oh, it's this. Yes. This is how I get one of the golden stars for Calumen's Folly. But yeah, I think there are exactly 4 puzzles in the game that I haven't solved. And I know what one of them is. And I think I know how to solve a second one. Because it's just find a thing out in the world. And once I find it, I know where to go to plug it in. But I need to find that thing out in the world before I can consider that one solved. And then the other 2, I'm not sure. So I might be at the point where I start looking up information about the game. I guess it's also possible that the cipher has some of that information. I think there was something on the Steam community for this game about the cipher pieces. The Blueprints paradox, kind of. Yeah. So there is a guide thing on the community that has the raw text of the ciphers, like, without decoding it, so that I could copy and paste it somewhere. The question is, what kind of cipher is it? Because I don't have that information. And there's a bunch of different ciphers that it could be. I just know that it is some kind of cipher. Do I just Google types of ciphers? All right. I'm just going to try pasting it in and see what happens. And then I know Aliometra. It's almost assuredly not a Caesar cipher. This seems to think it is a Vignere cipher. That seems likely. I don't know how Vignere ciphers work, but apparently I plugged it into the web page and it told me that it was a Vignere cipher with that key. So, great. Which means that I could go through the remaining tome pieces and find all the places where she has extra text. Like here. This is the end of Acrylon's thing. Oh, right. Acrylon was going to wish for the sky to stay safe, and instead wished down the sun. A celestial body for a wish. Well, what else? How can I get this text onto... Do I have a thing that I can add? Browser. Does this have information? This doesn't seem to have the page, nor does it seem to be on screen. Even though it should be above the game, it's not showing up. Looks like it is a fixed here. If I do this, aha! Okay, cool. This is not... Let's try this. Alright, yeah. So this works. We could do this. I'm gonna hide this bookmark bar, though. Hang on. Hold. It's just going to show you the entire window. Oh, you know what I can do here, actually. I can fix this slightly differently. We're doing it live, kids! Just crop the top off completely. Alright, that'll do. Cool, perfect. Okay. So this is the text that shows up at the end of Acrelon's journal here on the right. Heed these words well, so that you might learn from Acrelon's folly. Samik will always be 10 steps ahead in every direction. Trying to use a wish he granted to end his own game was doomed to fail from the start. It will take another spirit to set things right. Know this. The ziggurat is not a tomb for the stars, as Acrelon thought. It is Vanoran's. Alright. And then there is some text here in The Golden King, which is discussing Akenad, who is presumably the warrior? Or is this the descendant of the warrior? As the story goes, the warrior would go on to drive off his 2 companions and take the throne for himself, only to go mad raving about the stars later in life. Unfit to rule and unwilling to relinquish the crown, his son, who is Akenad, had no choice but to take it by force. You gotta wonder what Antigone, not Antigone, Aliometra has to say about that. Alright, so now I gotta go through the process of copying and pasting into the website. What happened to the Veneer cipher? Now it's not showing me the oh man. Akina. Everything is missed with you. They're not asking for pages. We have all of the pages. We have every page. Oh, this screwed up. The copy and paste was wrong. I see what's going on here. The copy and paste. Steam auto-censored DIK. So of course it's not working. Try again. Alright, here we go. Good job, Steam. It was a truly tragic fate. He did not go mad, not really. He had a vision, saw what you see now. A darkened world beneath a pitch-black sky, dead and empty. And he knew it was our fault, and could not bear the weight of what we had done. Alright, yeah, that's a thing to be concerned about. I would be similarly concerned. Alright, and then the next piece is in The Mad Queen, which is talking about Paloma. To talking about Paloma, who, I don't know about Mad Queen, but certainly frivolous, right? Using up wishes merely to keep herself happy. And we have the following text. He would not have thought such things if he understood the true price of wishing. Hang on. What would he have not thought? Maybe I should read the paragraph prior to this. While we common folk struggle and languish in the outer ring, she does nothing but throw extravagant feasts and festivals for the nobles. She's obsessed with frivolous displays of opulence, and cares for nothing but her own amusement and luxurious indulgence. I heard she once wasted a wish on a pair of magic shoes that let her walk on water just for a party trick. Unfathomable power, capable of great and terrible things, and that is what she chooses to do with it. I'm sure they're already collecting dust somewhere in the royal vault now that she's had her brief moment of fun. I suppose I should be grateful that she's never used that power for anything worse. Alright, and Alia Metra's commentary. He would not have thought such things if he understood the true price of wishing. Paloma pushed the world towards endless night faster than any other individual. And she did it for nothing. Tore countless stars from the sky, just for fleeting moments of entertainment. At least Tenok's wishes served some greater purpose, cruel as it might have been. Well then. Next, the final reign, which is Menevere, right? This is, Menevere's rise to power, I think? This is Menevere's rise to power. Or, no, this is Menevere after she's already become queen. And a couple of stories from her reign. Wishmaker. Speaking of the Wishmaker, okay. Ivor. Ivor is a sage of Menevere's time? Who is the spirit that grants wishes for the rulers of Artahk? Okay. Menevere didn't have this information, but was not particularly happy with the spirit. That much we know is true. And what information do we have here? Most who ask such questions tend to meet unfortunate ends, or have their records mysteriously lost to time. Samik is a schemer, a puppeteer. He thrives in the shadows, and goes to great lengths to remain there. To shine a light on the unseen hand is to call its wrath upon you. Which definitely does explain why, you know, so very many of Samik's, of people looking for the answer to this question end up not finding it. Ah, but then he went into the garden, and then it was over, because that's what happens when you go into the garden. Vision of finality. This is Menevere having a nightmare about her mom? About a variety of figures, I think. Calling her out. But using the same kind of language that the fox uses. We get to the end here. So, the end of this nightmare. I think by this point she had realized the truth of what I said, that she had doomed herself with her wish. Still, she maintained the resolve to play her part as honorably as she could until the end. I think she was more worthy than I ever gave her credit for. Here in this vision, shared by the tome's magic, we see her inner conflict made manifest, subconscious worries and regrets voiced and given honest consideration. A true tyrant would have never known doubt. Okay, so a little bit of commentary here from Alia Metra about the various stories that we're reading. Yeah, this is like, can you solve a Vignere cipher by hand? Is that even a thing that you can do? Or is this one of those like really complex ones that you need to have machines to do it for you? I guess I don't know how Vignere ciphers work. Is, like, if you know anything about ciphers, is it an automatic assumption to think that because you have a key to the cipher, it is a Vignere cipher? Because, like, that wasn't information that I had, knowing what little I know about ciphers. You can, but no one in modern times will, sure. Like, I'm just... I take a little bit of issue with the dev saying that it is an intended piece of gameplay to force the player to essentially go out to a website and copy and paste this, because that's what everybody's gonna do, as opposed to just translating it in place once you find the key. It's like, okay, if it's a technical limitation and you couldn't figure out how to get it to do it, like, you could say that. You don't need to try and make it more than what it is. All right, here... Meta fetch quest, right? So this is, where are we? In Pretenders. This is Menevir's rise to power. This is Menevir. This is Menevir before she has made her wish and is still plotting to take over the throne from whoever the tyrant is, the succeeded Paloma. So we get to this end, and Menevir in her journal is writing to Samik. Should you ever find the courage to rear your head instead of slinking in the shadows, know that I will not cower, but cast you back into whatever pit you crawled from. Samik has, of course, his little response here, right? If only she knew what the future had in store. And then Alia Metra also has a response. I can tell that Samik has been leaving you notes in here too, just as I am sure he is aware of mine, though we cannot know what the other is saying. I assume that last one was along the lines of, if only she knew, stated with a complete lack of self-awareness that he did, in fact, stay hiding for the shadows for her entire reign, and only ever beat her by essentially cheating at his own game. Despite the scars and lack of meaningful effect, I find myself envious of the opportunity to land a direct blow on the fox. Yeah? Alright. Okay, so that's interesting. I appreciate that the call-out is they can know that the other entity is writing, but they cannot read the other entity's text. Sure. Eternicide. I'm still missing this one, so I guess I gotta figure out where this one is, since I don't want to go through the rest of it while still missing this puzzle. Does that mean I have to look it up? Maybe I have to look it up now, because I'm not sure where else to go in order to get any remaining puzzles that still exist. The only puzzle that I know is missing is the tablet puzzle at this point. Aliometra and Samik are very Cirrus and Akinar. Yeah, Senna was making the mist comparison as well. Now, I guess I know of 2 puzzles that I haven't solved. One of which is find the exact right square out in the world. There'll be like exactly 1 hint if I find it. Like, if I find it, I'll know it. But there is exactly 1 square out in the world that is hiding an item that I need to go pick up. And from what I've seen so far, I guess it's likely that it's under a bridge, if I can figure out how to find a bridge to get under. If I can find any more bridges to get under. If I have suspicions as to where there might be bridges. Dragon Warrior callback. It's like Edric's token, right? Have you figured out exactly which pixel out in the world you have to be looking at? Yeah, that was a mess. I feel like there was information about it, like it wasn't, you know, totally blind guessing in the dark, but it was certainly a bit of a disaster. Meanwhile, the thing that I am looking for, I can show you what it looks like once I've found it, because I found something similar in other places. Coordinates, something like that, yeah. It was just like one specific tile in the swamp, right? Like in the middle of the swamp, there was like one exact tile that you had to search. Completely separate from the other like pseudo mini game of searching something else. Like, there were a couple of other places that were a lot more obvious, like at the base of a particular tree in a ruined town or something. But yeah, just that one thing in the swamp. Abandoned town, hiding on a swamp space there, surrounded by fire wyverns. It's kind of like the abandoned town in Zelda 2, right? There was like, it wasn't nearly as bad because it wasn't as big, the space that you had to dig through. Here, this. You see this like green diamond? If I find another green diamond like this out in the world, it's hiding the thing that I'm missing. So we just need to know where that thing is. And then I can go do one more puzzle. One of the 4 remaining puzzles. So, you know, if we find that, then great. But yeah, Zelda 2 had like one forest tile that you needed to chop down, and if you chopped it down, there was a village there. And, you know, there was like some clues about like a hidden town in the forest, but nothing too obvious. And I think that town had like the fairy spell. I think it was like a really important spell to go get. Like very important to progression in the game. I feel like this is a common theme in NES games. I think I'm gonna find anything out here. Having already been out here, probably not. Having already been out here and resolved the one puzzle that was here. Yeah, I have been out here. With green torch. And it has not gotten me anything. Alas. All right, so in addition to just wandering the world and hoping... We only have 8 bits to work with. You use them in extremely evil ways sometimes, yeah. So in addition to just wandering the world and hoping to find the thing that is relevant, there is one other puzzle that I know where it is, but I don't know... I feel like I am missing information in order to be able to solve it. Or maybe just missing, like... missing something. I might be able to brute force it without knowing the piece that I am missing. But... why is this here? It's like there's a gateway here, like an actual doorway. It's weird. But yeah, I feel like I have been about everywhere in this game at this point, and it is clear that I am missing some puzzles. And some of them I might be able to guess where they are based on which stories are still missing puzzles. So there might be a little bit of direction there, but... not a whole lot. And I don't know that I necessarily remember the contexts either, right? So I know that I am missing one story in Eternicide, but I don't remember where the rest of the Eternicide stories were. So even knowing that it is a part of Eternicide doesn't super help me, because I don't have that personal list of where all the different pieces were. I can probably look up a guide that'll give me some hints. I wish there was like a spoiler-free guide of where puzzles are. That would be cool. Although I don't know how feasible it is to do that in a spoiler-free way. I guess the next question is, if I don't intend to solve the remaining puzzles, what else can I do? Can I get to an end of this game without solving the 4 remaining stories that I don't have? I don't know. I guess I can keep chasing down Samik and see what happens. Some eyes over here, huh? Are there eyes over on this staircase also? Yes. All right. The wishing chamber. So this is just gonna kick me back out to the start of the game again. One more time, back to the start. The last time I did this, there were footprints, paw prints on the ground that I was then able to follow and get some more of Samik's story, or at least some whatever Samik wanted to share with me. Your mod duties for others, you tend to be the spoiler filter. Okay. Yeah, I guess if you're willing to take that on, that would probably be helpful here. Since there are exactly 4 stories I'm still missing. Eternicide 2 is one of them. The Fracture 3 and the Fracture 6. And then was it in Unmasking? No. In the First Wish? No. In Myriad. Whatever this one is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Myriad 8. One of those is going to be the puzzle in Kellerman's... Man, what is her name? Kellerman? I think it's Kellerman. Kellerman's Folly. And one of them is going to be the puzzle that I solve by finding the Sage's tablet out in the world somewhere. And then there's 2 more, and I don't know where those are. These are the pieces that I am missing. And I feel like I have been walking around in a lot of different places now. So I don't know what I could still be. Yo, hello, Sami. I guess he doesn't want to talk. All right, he's just watching. He does that. Didn't this... Oh, no, it was square. That's the extra piece of information associated with that. I thought there were directions associated with those, but not that one. That's a different one. Different puzzle. That is a thing I have already picked up. One thing that the dev said that he was thinking about working on and didn't get the chance to implement in time was context-aware clues. Like, clues that know whether or not you've solved the puzzle associated with them. So, once you've solved the puzzle, they would disappear instead of just hanging out and cluing you towards something that no longer needs to be clued towards. I don't know if he's ever actually going to get to that point. I'm not sure how much more changes are coming down the pike for this game. I do know that the addition of the Beast toggle was a post-release thing. So I know that he's paying attention to stuff and potentially working on more stuff for the game, but I don't know how much. Not even sure if there is a walkthrough posted for this game. The community for it is fairly niche. I think the amount of people that might be out there making that kind of content is pretty low. All right, I want to go back to the I guess in order is the order in which I would like them. The first one being Eternicide number 2. Whatever goes into this slot. And this is more about, like, where can I go to come to grips with this puzzle, as opposed to, like, clues towards solving it. Although I may eventually need more direction when it comes to finding that last tablet for the Sage. Because that's irritating. Especially if it's just like somewhere out in the tangle. The tangle is huge. There was a lot of tangled overgrowth in the tangled overgrowth. Oh, what's up, Condor? Not in the tangle. All right, that's good to know. Yeah, I did some copying and pasting to figure out some of the cipher stuff, Condor. and I realized that I was missing some of the stories. So we've gone back to looking for more stories. Yeah, this is where I need to put the tablet once I find it. And I need to find the tablet in order to put it there. So, you know, as far as complexity of puzzle, it's not particularly complex, rather simple. But where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, I have no idea. Yep, stage tablet. And I know, like, what the symbol looks like to clue you towards the tablets. I found the other two. But I haven't seen the third one of those symbols out in the wild yet. And then I have 90 of 90, which means I am missing 4 stories, I think. To keep you updated on my progress. 1 out of Eternicide, 2 out of... what was the other one? 2 out of the Fracture, and 1 out of Myriad. And I still haven't figured... I should probably just go and try and brute force the thing in Kellerman's Folly. No, I need Moonglade Lake. It's probably quicker to cross here to get to Moonglade Lake than to try and go around the tangle. If you miss it, you're probably not going to think to recheck the spot that it's in. That checks out. Would not be the first time that's happened to me. Because the other 2 were relatively obvious. Right? There was one under, maybe not this bridge. I think it was the bridge in Fortress Ruins. And there was one under the bridge in the Courtyard Plaza. So, like, maybe there's another bridge that it's under that's somewhat believable and would be, in fact, the place that I would go to look. If I knew where bridges were, like if I had that information, if I had, you know, that kind of mental map. But, I don't. First the accuser, then the deceiver, the one that fled at the end. So, I think this is referring to the first wish. The index for Eternicide. Yeah, so it starts off with pathetic, pathetic. There is something here. Then waking dreams, the unmaking wish, take up the knife, and the queen's epitaph. Was it the wish? Maybe it was somewhere else. Maybe it was somewhere in Myriad? Garden Dreams, Chromatica, no. Unmasking? The Deception. That's not it. Where is the thing that I'm looking for? Oh, here it is. This is exactly it. This is exactly what I'm looking for. The warrior's accusation, the outlaw's regret, and then this thing. The warrior's vision, the outlaw's vision, and the sage's vision. So I'm missing the sage's something. The one filled with regret is gotta be the outlaw, then the warrior, then the sage. This also has the, like, weird text thing. I did resolve those. So once I get this, I'll have the answer to this one. So the pieces in the fracture have to be the tablet. Once I have that third tablet, I will have the rest of the fracture. So that's actually 2 puzzles that are accounted for probably by the sage's tablet. There is whatever's behind here. And then there is one more puzzle out in the world somewhere that I just didn't get, and that's probably the Eternicide one. Or maybe the Myriad one. So either the Myriad one or the Eternicide one is the one I get for clearing up this bit in Kellyman's Folly. And then additionally, there is one more puzzle out in the world somewhere. Oh no. One more puzzle out in the world somewhere. In the Royal Parterre. Okay, okay. I would believe that I am missing something in the Parterre. That actually is eminently believable. There's a lot of stuff there. We can go diving to the Parterre for a bit. We can go see if there's anything to see out there. That's not too far from here either. I think. Because I think I have a shortcut that I can use here that goes directly to the Parterre. I think that's where this goes. Man, what do I think I didn't get here in the Parterre? What did I get here in the Parterre, actually? That's maybe a better question. This one was intent, if I am remembering correctly. So where did that go? That was the final rain, which I did finish. Oh yeah, standing here, I can actually see that it goes in the right order. This particular thing is just intent. This is DP something C, I think? Is it really just those? No, there's one over there in the corner with the T. But I don't know what other orders. I think it's like the P, the corner of the T, the D, and the C, which is like, that doesn't make a word. Working up more steps. All right, cool. Hopefully this isn't something that I feel like I've already done, because that would be really disheartening. There's a lot of stuff to do here is the problem. There's a lot of different directions to go to walk around here. I mean, I guess I could just start over from scratch and see where it gets me. Now that I have, in theory, all the tools I need. Presage. What does Presage get me? That's also the final rain. Oh! It's here! That's the symbol. Okay. How do I get back around to here? What layout do I need to get up to here? All right, if this layout doesn't do it, what is the next layout I have access to? I don't, this isn't the one that I was looking for, but this is helpful. Where does this let me go to the place that I need to go to? Wait, do I already have this one? No way. Nothing's coming up. It's not giving it to me. Was this not the thing I was looking for? Because this really should be it. This really should be it. That was the Outlaw tablet. Wait, but if this was the Outlaw tablet, and I also have a thing underneath the bridge in the courtyard, in the main plaza, and I also have the thing underneath the bridge in Fortress Ruins, then how do I not have all three tablets? Which of those wasn't a tablet? Were any of those not a tablet? Did I not pick up one of them despite having just walked past it? Because that's awful. There's not anything under the Fortress Ruins Bridge? What are you talking about? What do you mean there's not anything under the Fortress? There's absolutely something under... Did I... What? Because I could have sworn I saw the symbol. The water channel there for the Whispering Shrine might be what you're thinking of, I suppose. That's possible. Alright, now I gotta go figure out what it was I was thinking of. Alright, let's double check. This is Moonglade. Fortress Ruins is out and to the left here. All right, well, I guess if this isn't the thing, then it's back to parterre to see if there's like some other thing. Because you could walk under here. I could have sworn that I remembered there being one of those things under, like, on this bridge so that I could go under and pick it up. Maybe it was just the courtyard one. Wow, okay. All right, well, in that case, direct question, where is the Sage Tablet? At least what zone is it in? I think if I know the zone, I can probably find it. At least I'll have a little bit more than just literally wandering around the entire world trying to figure it out. Now there's also the question of what did I miss in the parterre? Because there's a lot of stuff in there. Man, this game is so hard to go back and find what you were missing. Like, if you miss something, it's so difficult to kind of retrace your steps and see, like... Maybe it's just the parterre specifically. I think it's actually the parterre specifically is a huge hassle to retrace your steps and see if you missed anything. And everything else is mostly okay. I think I have to go around in order to get to where I want to be again. Too much running around. Pretty sure I have done whatever this arrow is indicating. Yeah, I definitely have. I want to know what this arrow is for. But this way takes me to the other parterre entrance. The Sage Tablet is in a main plaza subzone. Main plaza subzone? So like the vault? Or like... Because the parterre is technically a subzone off of the main plaza? Or like the courtyard or something like that? Like not in the main plaza, but in a zone that you get to from the main plaza? Check the vault. The vault seems like it's decently likely. I think this is the way I get to the vault. Did I see that symbol somewhere and then not commit? Did I see it under the tree somewhere and then not actually check it? Oh my god. Under the tree is like so likely. Like that's such a relevant, that's such a like, that would be a good spot for it. But no, nothing under the tree. Too bad. There are a lot of eyes here. For only the magic boots being here previously. Yeah, I think at this point we are due some leading questions, probably. So yes, you can ask me a leading question. I don't know that I will necessarily recognize an individual word, but I should be able to recognize an individual puzzle if I am pointed at it. Where is the golden star in the parterre? The golden star, I have picked that up. It's off to the side a little bit. There is a... I know where it is. Should I be checking near the golden star in the parterre? Yeah, because there was this one here, which is the other tablet that I've already gotten. I guess there's not that many other subzones. Golden star is connected. Huh. Interesting. All right. I'm not quite sure what to make of that, but that's enough for me to go back and take a look at it, and maybe I'll figure something out. Yep, the flower there, we got that worked out. That's fine. Yeah, no, I think you know where I am at generally, Mr. Gecko, so that is... I, for the most part, trust you in terms of how much you think is appropriate to reveal. I didn't go off to the side here, though. No, I did go off to the side here. I absolutely came out here. I looked at all of this. All right, no dice. A lot of running around. How many other subzones are out here? How many subzones does the main plaza have? Three? Is the parterre one of them? Are we not counting the parterre? Alright, well, having been in the vault in the courtyard, I'm actually a little confused. Yeah, the golden star was here. But in order to get here, I had to resolve all the stuff up there, I think. I think resolving all of the stuff up here is what turned this flower real. And now I don't remember how I even got in here to begin with. Oh, that's how. And I opened this up completely. Made my way down to here. Got adoration. I have done something else here? There's a reset there. Nothing else that looks like it could be letters. Nothing else that looks like it could be interacted with. I must have done this one. Yeah, adoration is just the swans. Yeah, I don't see how this would get me anywhere. Think I've gotten everything in the parterre? Believable. Yeah, I am missing the two puzzles. I am missing exactly 4 story bits, Condor. The 2 that follow from the Sage's tablet. The one that I get for solving whatever's in Calumen's Folly. And one more. And I believe, I don't know if that's correct, but I believe that that one more is the Eternicide story. I would expect that Calumen's Folly will get me the last Myriad story. And then there's 2 in the Fracture that I'm going to get from the tablet. And this is my belief about what is left in the world. Where is the other subzone in the vault? Or in the, Sage tablet is definitely what I need. Yeah, I kind of figured. How much of this room can I see? Wait, is there a... Okay. How much of this room can I see without triggering the warp? Oh, it's not e- oh, it is there. Okay. Scary. Is it there if I don't have the torch on? It is. Okay. One place I can only get to from the main plaza that I haven't checked. Yeah, I actually don't know where else I can get to. I guess there's that fox room on the side. Near the courtyard, but not in the courtyard. I just walked past it? Is there a thing here? Or are you talking about that thing by the courtyard? Because I did just walk past that. That's true. I did? Oh no. How did I miss it? In the ziggurat proper? Oh, that's horrifying. Oh, yeah, it's right here. Good heavens. Yeah, I must have been just not looking at the screen at all. I went around to the left, and then I went around to the right, and then I was like, okay, there's nothing here, and I walked out. Wow. Okay, okay, all right, great, great, great. All right, actually, given where I'm at right now, how about we just talk to Samik and have him kick me out? Because that's the easiest way to get back to close to the start. Hi, Samik. Basically death warping. Fox continues to be the actual worst. Yup, Fox is pretty bad. Oh, Fox is a way bigger jerk than any jerk bird, absolutely. Okay, now there's more to do here, I suppose. Okay, sure. Arrow in the 5 green circles. 1. Oh, so I need to find all the trees. Okay. Hi, Fox. Bye, Fox. Only one so far, huh? That's kind of disheartening. There's one. Ooh. 2. I'll just keep flashing that light till I see it, I guess. There's gotta be more. A lot of wandering out here. That's great. 3. I don't trust. Alright. Aw, this dead end doesn't have one? Extra disappointing. Okay, what about the room up there, though? Or is that just, like, the regular area? I feel like that might just be the regular area. Or here. Yeah, okay. Nothing, fine, still on 3. There we go. 4. Is it going to show me 4 collected? It is going to show me 4 collected. How nice of them. One more! One more, somewhere. This game is pretty cursed sometimes. Can I get down into this space? Maybe if I set the laser to be purple. Magenta, I suppose. Not a thing I can do. It's certainly not a thing that I have tried to do. That doesn't mean it's a thing I can't do. Because we can have magenta light. And then how would I get down this path at that point? Here. So here. So here. Oh, no. No. There's a wall. Why is there a wall? How did I deal with this last time? Oh, presumably I came out... Yeah. This is the other direction. I'm supposed to come up from the bottom. Come up from the left side as opposed to come up from the right side. So, let's go with this. Is this enough? Did I ever try to do this? I might not have ever tried to do this. Imperative. I did never try to do this! Alright, that's it. This is everything. To end the endless. Don't even remember what buttons I'm pressing. I am faced, of course, by a very serious problem. Menevere is immortal. She cannot die. Yet I must kill her, and I know I must. The dream was different last night, if only a little. Finally, after so long cowering, I forced myself to grab the knife. Courage swelled in my chest, and I rose to my feet. The starlit queen merely tilted her head, as if amused by my defiance. Though I held the knife, my hand trembled. I could do no more. When I tried to step forward, it was as though iron weights were tied to my feet. It ended the same as ever, with a single word from the queen. Pathetic. We shall see. I believe I know a way to bring about her end. The same way she became immortal in the first place. A wish. All have heard rumors of such things, but through Liak, I knew more than most. Okay, so this now is new green text. Well, teal text. From To End the Endless. And Alia Metra says, Liak. Painfully obvious to anyone who knows of him, yet he knew no one around at the time did. Even Menevere never learned his name. Sometimes it feels as though he does these things just to taunt me. That's believable. He is one of the Queen's advisors, and one of the only people I feel I can truly trust. He is understanding, not like the others who shy away from my troubled temperament. He is the one who rescued me from the streets of the slums and arranged for me to live and work in the palace. Not long after I arrived here, he told me the truth of the wishes. At the top of the ziggurat is a ceremonial door, one that can only be opened when a special prism is used to shine concentrated sunlight upon it, beyond which lies the chamber where wishes are granted. The Queen arranged for this, to make entering the chamber such a grand, conspicuous affair that all will be aware when she chooses to make one, and none may sneak through to steal one unnoticed. Yet Liak lets slip that he believes the Queen is a liar. He has heard rumors that there is another secret entrance to the wishing chamber, one that the Queen left intact for her own purposes. I need only trust in him and search for where she has hidden it. Well, now let's get one thing straight. I would hate to be branded as a liar. I never told her the Queen left the passage there with any intent, nor even that she knew about it. Only that such a thing existed. Many such things do, in fact. I know this place better than anyone, and it doesn't quite play by the rules you mortals would expect besides. And that the Queen had not destroyed it. It's not for my fault. It's not my fault she inferred nefarious purpose from that, rather than the truth. The Menevere surely would have included a clause to prevent me from arranging new paths to the chamber in her wish, if she had known. Yeah, okay, that's... sure. Just because you destroyed all of the existing paths doesn't mean new paths cannot be arranged. Technically accurate. I passed by another servant today, one who was unusually friendly. He was concerned about my outburst the other day, and wanted to be certain I was all right. My words caught in my throat when I tried to respond. For a moment, the hallway was pitch black and flooded with green fire, a matching torch held in the man's hand. His face was veiled in shadows, save starry eyes just like hers. I recoiled, even as the vision passed, hurrying away from him without a word. He must be working with her, trying to get close to me because she suspects my plotting. It doesn't matter if I'm wrong. He hates me now either way. I saw it in his eyes. Disgust. Just like all the others who look upon the cursed girl. Though I am beginning to think that it is not a curse at all. No, it is a glorious purpose that is bestowed upon me. All this time I was chosen. Not cursed, chosen. It must be so. Yes, I see now. It wasn't all for nothing. I was made for this, born to carry this weight. It has always been my duty to end the endless reign. Then I will be free at last. Not just free, a hero. They will finally see me as more than a crazed freak to be shunned. Will they, though? Not sure they will. I guess we're going to finish reading, and then we'll come back to getting the last word here. Waking dreams. Have you spoken with anyone unusual lately? With green eyes, pale skin, silver hair. Okay. And this is... She had been so damaged by the fox, I thought a gentle approach was the only way I might reach her, but that has never been one of my strengths. I was naive to even risk this contact. If she had listened, or I had warned someone else who could stop her scheme, it would have only delayed the inevitable, and pushed Samik to retaliate before I was ready to face him. There was never anything I could have truly done to help her. Though, the fact she saw me covered in flowers back then is fascinating. I was unaware. Perhaps her dreams were more earnestly prophetic than I believed, and merely curated to the fox's purpose. What is she talking about, covered in flowers? Oh, this is... Okay, I thought it was Menevere approaching Kaliman. But I guess it is... I mean, we always knew it was the sage. But... She is bound in the vines from my dreams and covered in beautiful flowers. Okay. The Unmaking Wish. So this is the dagger. I have been chosen for a glorious purpose. Kaliman is such a mess. Pay close attention here and see the power that forged Sitlilier. Far beyond any other wish he has granted, tapping into something much deeper than mere spirit magic. Why go to such lengths? Samik never has just one plan, and do not think me vain when I tell you, I believe its true purpose is to be a contingency against me. Yet look closer, see the epithets it was given, see what it truly is. A counter to any magic Samik has worked. Imagine what it might do in the hand of one who opposed him. Oh. Somehow I never put together that the whole point of this was to pick up Sitlilier and use that to kill Samik. Or at least end Samik's wishes. Interesting. I wonder why I never made that connection. That feels like a pretty obvious connection in retrospect. Obviously, this dagger is still going to be lying around. Of course, Samik has already alluded to the fact that there is a way for him to lose, right? Because what fun is it if you can't lose? Take up the knife. So this is right after the death. right after Kalimin kills Menevere using Setlilir. Look closely and see how desperate Samik became to rid himself of the old queen. Years of work and preparation to shape her into his weapon. And still he had to all but personally move her hand to finish the job. Never let him fool you into believing he truly has complete infallible control of all that happens. My heart truly aches for gentle Kalimin. Even with all the Fox did to corrupt her, some part of her still hesitated at every step. Still knew she was making a mistake. She never deserved any of it, and I will see that she is avenged one day. It's definitely an interesting comparison between how Aliametra looks at Kalimin and how Samik looks at Kalimin, right? You know, there is no omnipotent narrator here. All of these stories are perspective stories. Was it highlighted? Oh, no, I do know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah. While Samik is talking to me at some point, he says, take up the knife in green. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. I am just genuinely that oblivious. For almost all the time. And yet somehow these are the kinds of games I play. The Queen's Epitaph. This is after Liak kills Menevere. Not Menevere, Kalimin. You did marvelous, my dear, at the very end. That's so that's so bad. Poor Kalimin. Do you wonder at how this tale ends with its author's demise? It is hardly the first either, and may have you question the veracity of these accounts. I can assure you that it is of no concern, both by the letter of my wish ensuring these tales are true, and my own corroboration that all the events I lived through are retold faithfully. The matter of how these unwritten stories came to be, however, is a question I have no definite answer to. The tome itself may be writing these stories with historical significance that were never properly recorded to comply with the wish that forged it. Or perhaps Theogen Kassir is the one who penned them, as I have seen proof that the tome can pull information from his great library. The possibility that Samik could be the one providing these accounts, because he wishes for this information to be known, should not be ignored. Okay, I won't ignore it, probably. I might ignore it. No promises. All right, and then before we get into the fracture, actually, how many more? There's unmasking, a bunch of stuff in unmasking. Yeah, that's pretty important. Some stuff in the First Wish, and some stuff in Myriad, and we're still missing one of the Myriad stories. Oh, there's a lot more to keep reading. All right. There can be no true peace nor stability while he still walks this world. Not going through the fracture yet. This is I Am Alone out of Unmasking. I stand by these words even now. So long as Samik lives to continue scheming, the world, all worlds, are under threat of a fate worse than annihilation. My work is far from done. Restoring the sky is hardly even the beginning. so much stuff in unmasking. The garden. So this is where Alia Metra starts to think about maybe there is things that she can do outside of this world. The garden's power poured in, and the 7 great spirits were born. So is Alia Metra the 8th spirit now? I guess the more I read, the closer I will get to finding out the truth of that, one way or another. I Taught You Better has text and I missed it? Did I forget to mark it? Yo, it totally has text and I forgot to mark it. Which location? Where is this? This is prior to Kaliman? Because I think I Taught You Better and I'm Sorry are both about Kaliman. Although I Taught You Better might be about Menevere, it's actually not clear here. And then she has a nightmare in which Antigone comes back and sets her straight. Well, maybe not nightmare, but still. And I Taught You Better is where she then goes to visit the owl. So I don't know if I'm Sorry is talking. It's probably talking about Kaliman and Menevere. And I Taught You Better. This has to be talking about Kaliman, I guess. I guess it doesn't have to, but like, it seems like it's talking either about Kaliman or Menevere. And like, I think this text is accurate for either. A petulant brat obsessed with royalty. Yeah, both of those. That fits both of those. Okay, so the teal text makes it clear that it's Menevere, which is helpful. I'm not proud of how embittered I was by my meeting with Menevere. Little of what I said here holds any water. I do think she was foolish not to take greater precautions against the fox, but in almost every regard she was a greater woman than I. She could have been a great ally, to be certain, but in truth I believe there was much else that caused me such grief when she rejected my plea so absolutely. She too was immortal, and I was at my lowest point of desperation. I think on some level I was hoping to find a friend. That checks out. I fully believe that. We've already seen the call out once this game. Humans not meant to be immortal. All right, tell me about the garden. Hemora would destroy the seed in a moment of despair. When the bismuth shattered, it cracked the very foundation of the world, and through that crack, the garden's power poured in. And the 7 spirits were created. I suspected as much, but it is still interesting to see Samik overplay his hand like this. He has redacted even my own words retelling this story. Either he is truly ashamed of his origins, or he believes it is knowledge that poses a real threat to him. Perhaps both. I am certain he would find a way to intervene if I tried to tell you plainly even now. Use your own intuition if you seek a deeper understanding of your foe. Enough clues should still linger throughout this tome to piece together the truth, if you can properly grasp them. Can I? Do I feel like I can properly grasp the clues? That's a very good question. Oh, is that what the extra spaces are? The garden's power poured in something, and something. The 7 great spirits were born. There's also an extra space in front of Himura. So I guess this is Samik redacting part of this text? Interesting. Interesting. Predestination. How adorable that she didn't think I knew. The only way to win then is to ignore the game entirely. To join the garden. There is something more I would confide in you, here where the fox will not see my words. I do not truly know how I accomplished this feat. I planned for this moment a long time, pursued theory and hypothesis dredged from forgotten corners of herblore for decades, centuries. Yet many key elements in my final design for breaching through to the garden came from a single sheaf of notes written in a single night that I scarcely remember. I must have written them, for they were scrawled by my hand, and I recall no other who could have assisted me. Yet the information they contained was based on nothing I knew before, and would have required incredible leaps of logic to arrive at. It should have appeared as nonsense to be discarded, yet I had undue confidence in what was written, and time would prove it true. It was as though I had written it in a trance, guided by some greater power that still eludes my knowledge. I hold some worry that there is something out here in the garden that chose to help me down this path for reasons I can only guess at. Magic 8 Ball. Yep. Yeah, you never know. You never know when I'm gonna pull some, like, really insightful garbage out of my ass, or when I'm just going to walk past yet another lever and completely miss something very obvious. It's, equal odds on both. So the garden grows and grows and grows. Regret. I think it's interesting that this switched to second person for regret. Maybe we will get something enlightening from Aliometra about it. And so it falls now to you, my champion. Serena, read these words and know that you are the one who will rekindle hope, reignite the sky that I left dark in my wretched wake. You are so close now, do not falter. I will be with you in every way that I can. Okay. We have the MC's name again. That's the second time. All right, I'm not going into the fracture yet, but we can take a look at the first wish. The desert. Slow your hearts and listen well. I am the treasure you seek. And that has to be Simic. That has to be Simic's words there. This retelling of the tale is too kind to me. I did not seek the ziggurat because it was a tantalizing mystery. I knew from the very start that it was Simic's tomb. The wishes we gained from freeing him were always my goal. There was never another way. Which is pretty much the impression that we had already gotten at this point. That all of this was deliberate as a way to defeat Simic rather than keep Simic trapped. Because apparently keeping Simic trapped wasn't good enough. The deception. So this is the sage and the warrior play acting in front of Vanoran, while the outlaw goes around and frees Samik. Here it was, the point of no return. I'm not proud to have used Vanoran's kind-hearted nature against him like this, and often I wonder how things might have gone if he had had the chance to sway me from my path. Differently, for sure. The wish. So, is this after the wish is actually made, or what will you ask? What will be your first wish? The fox bowed, and its eyes flashed green, sending a ripple of light through the sand. They wish to turn the dry canyon into a lush oasis. Sometimes I truly wish that it could have been so, that Artahk could stand forever as paradise, a place of glorious hope. Yet this was always its fate. I do not ask forgiveness, nor would I ever expect you to truly trust me, but I grant you my blessing and what help I can give in righting my wrongs. Alright. And then there is some dialogue here in Garden Dreams and Chromatica. Garden Dreams 1. I will speak no more of what I saw. Alright, tell me about the garden, Alia Metra. The garden seems like it figures pretty largely in this current situation. This is an old record, one of the first known visions of the garden. It was recorded by the dream shaman Elora of the Willows, before any even called themselves sages. Do you wish to know her fate? She never dreamed again. 7 days she lived, but there was never anything there when she closed her eyes, not through herb lore nor natural slumber. Her health declined as her paranoia grew, and the apprentice found her dead in a week's time, to the minute. There were flowers blooming from her mouth, growing through her body with roots in her stomach. The garden's gonna get ya! It grows and grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. This is what I saw! I love that the first one ends with, that is all I will say of my vision. And this one begins with, this is what I saw! Maybe this is a different sage, since the other one never dreamed again. Garden Dreams 2. The inside of a tree so vast a mountain could fit within it. The world tree, I guess. This is a record from a renowned sage named Cyrus Marigold. He was the founder of the Grand Archives, perhaps the first true sage, and in his twilight years became one of the very few to actively seek out knowledge of the garden. As is its nature, he found many questions and few answers. Other accounts of his life suggest these were not the only visions he recorded, but I was unable to find any others within this tome. The garden does not give up its secrets without a price. I know this better than most. His fate was one of the most interesting I've heard of. He simply vanished without a trace one day. Sat down to meditate alone in a sealed room, and was never seen again. No body left behind, and no rational way he could have left without anyone else knowing. The garden comes calling. And when the garden calls, it always calls collect. Garden Dreams 3. This one is long. The Witch, the Hierophant, and the Priestess. Three tablets laid on the ground, set in unnatural alignments. The Priestess. Then she looked at me is a pretty powerful sentence. Oh, I think there was another copy paste error here, or maybe another Steam auto censoring something here. Yep, there it is. DIK auto censored as expected. This comes from the journal of a sage named Triveni Revant that predates the founding of Artahk by nearly a century. The scars of her encounter are evident in the way she recounts her dreams. She writes of the visions these tablets gave her in such obtuse, hasty marginalia because they left a permanent stain on her psyche. She was unable to recall them without experiencing the visions as vividly as the first time, and so having an assistant scrawl whatever words she could manage to mutter while entranced was the only way to convey them. Whatever she saw at the end of her dream was the worst. She could not remember any further details than the notion of a crown, and whenever she tried to conjure the image in her mind, she claimed it caused her physical pain. Wild. And no, the imagery of a dismembered raven is not lost on me. I am quite troubled by the existence of such a thing so long before I was born, let alone ascended. I do not claim the title of witch willingly. Fascinating. Chromatica. Talking about color and the colors that are associated with each of the various spirits. Did I read this? I feel like I read some of this, but I don't know that I read all of this. Talking about the colors for each of the spirits. And then eventually finding white, because you know how white works when it comes to colors. Glimpse the crown and no despair. So this is still about the garden. This passage has haunted me ever since I first discovered it myself. There is much to be learned from the secrets he ripped from the garden before it claimed his life as forfeit. In fact, his methods were instrumental in my path towards ascension. Yet even as I am now, I understand terrifyingly little of whatever horror he stumbled upon here. Fascinating. And then there is the very brief piece of text where she just gets interrupted. And I'm not sure whether or not it can actually show it to me. Vinier is just ease. Do not. There we go. That seems more likely. And then Samik shuts her up. All right, so the only texts I have left is in the Fracture. Wow, all right, well, that was an extremely productive set of running around and doing things. And lots of reading. Really a lot of reading. This is finally opened. S-E-V-E-R-E-D. I know what that spells. The Sage's Deception. Ah. The Sage is the deceiver, then. So this is all of them having... This is all three of their perceptions of this one event. And then we have words from the Sage, specifically on the Outlaw's part. 3 stood within the throne room of the great ziggurat at the heart of Artahk. The warrior, the Sage, and the Outlaw. It was the warrior who had called the meeting. All right, and then we have the Sage's Deception. L is the first. The solstice is not for many moons. There is no need to confer on a wish yet. What matter is so urgent that you have had us all gather like this? The Sage asked. She met the warrior's gaze with a subtle leer. In truth, she knew why he had insisted upon this meeting. That's an N. The others were already suspicious of her before, and her recent gamble had not paid off. She was meant to wish for the crop fields, devastated by recent dust storms, to recover and flourish. A wish she had purposely pushed the discussion towards because she believed she could grant it herself in secret, as she had done in the past, and so steal the true wish for her own endeavors. Yet her efforts to revitalize the fields with her own magics had failed, and she knew that failure was far too suspicious to go unchecked. She adjusted her cloak to be certain the tome at her side remained hidden. Be that as it may, the matter is just what I wish to discuss, the warrior said with clenched fists. You have been lying about your wishes. The Sage replied through gritted teeth. Do not dare do this. She was quick to try and spin the conversation away from her misdeeds. Right, and this is her turning it around, being like, you acting with this kind of suspicion makes you more suspicious. Which, I mean, she's not wrong, but also, she is the bad actor in this situation. Foray into a new clue, yup. I got this right at the end last time and didn't read it at the time. I think I read the other two. I think I read the Outlaw stuff as well. There was no indicator that I had not read something in the book when I started up. So I was assuming that I went through all of the dialogue. I might be wrong, though. Anyway, that's an S. That's another S. That's another letter. I'll write down the S. Oh, Chromatica. Oh! Had I not read Chromatica? Because that was kind of long. And I feel like if I had read it, I might have recorded more information, or maybe I should go back and read Chromatica. The Outlaw rebuts her, do not try and twist words. The Sage narrowed her eyes, studying him. The Outlaw had always been the less predictable of her comrades. Difficult to maneuver around, because even he often seemed uncertain of his goals and motivation. Still, she knew one particular insecurity of his well. I am a sage that knows the spirits better than anyone. If there is a perceived fault in my wishes, It's because I am trying to rules lawyer them. And that's an M. The warrior's face paled as though he had seen a ghost, only to then flush with rage. Consequences? What consequences are coming? The outlaw's eyes dropped to the ground. We killed Vanoran. What sage concerned with spirits and consequences would aid in such a thing? The faintest wince flashed across the sage's face at the accusation. She knew his words held truth. Somewhere deep, it always hurt her to deride his worries as foolish. That's an E. What are you talking about? The warrior scoffed. Vanoran was a wretched beast. That's an I. We would have none of this if he still remained. And maybe we shouldn't, the outlaw trailed off, staring far into the distance. The sage meant to echo the warrior's words and further press the issue, but she found herself silenced by an unnerving look in the outlaw's eye as he turned to face her. A tense stillness hung in the air. Then he drew his dagger and plunged it into her neck faster than she could react. He and the warrior stood stunned at first, while the sage fell to her knees, grasping at her bloody throat. Wait, look. Every curse the sage knew ran through her head as she pulled the knife from her throat. How could she have been so careless not to see his intention? Now there was nothing she could do to hide it. Her very first selfish wish was laid bare for the others to see. The attack had been so perfectly placed to damn her that part of her suspected Samik had guided his hand. It would explain the strange shift in his intentions, and her dream had certainly given the impression he was meddling in this. Already she had thought up ways to mitigate the damage this would cause, but though the wound was healing, her throat was still damaged and choked by blood. The situation escaped her control before she could muster more than a gurgling cough. That's a T! It's flattering in a way that she thinks every possible inconvenience she suffers was my doing. Arrogant and paranoid. Are you certain this is truly someone you will trust to guide you? I knew it, she's immortal. The warrior looked at her with a face of utter betrayal. It wounded her more than she would have expected. Traitor! That's an A. And then a Y, and then an O. A-Y-O. The sage pulled her hand from her throat, a solemn look upon her face. She knew there was nothing more she could do. There was no hiding the truth of her unforgivable betrayal. And perhaps it was for the best, she thought, for she had everything she needed now. It would be wise to distance herself from the fox. Fine, I will go, she said. She hesitated as she donned her mask. Thoughts swirled in her head, of parting words she wished to say. Some wisdom she could offer that they might one day look back on and come to forgive her. A proper farewell to comrades she had truly grown fond of, at the very least. But she could not find the words, and left in silence. She would never see either of them again, honoring her exile from Artahk for centuries, even after the moths claimed them. Alright, and now let's see if I know how to count! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the numbers we have here are 3, 5, 2. I think that is 7, 6, 4. Five, 2, I think that's 7 again. Is that another 7? That might be another 7. That also might be an 8. I think it's an 8. 8, 1. That's a 6. 6 and 7, and I think a 9 at the end. think that's a 9. And what does that spell? S-E-N-T. Sentimentality. Sentimentality. And she doesn't have any of her own commentary here, huh? So this is each of their own nightmares, right? The warrior's vision is the empty night sky. The outlaw's vision the fear of betrayal. Betraying Vanoran, betraying the warrior, betraying the sage. She had been sitting in one place for so long that vines and flowers had begun to grow along her body. Sure. Alright, the sage's vision. She was standing amongst dunes made of black sand, beside a campfire lit with green flames. Silver obelisks ringed the area like the bars of a cage. Her eyes narrowed. Not only had she not intentionally invoked any dream, she recognized this place. Ah, it brings back memories, doesn't it? A sinister voice called out from behind her, accompanied by the sound of clanking metal. She turned to find a man draped in darkened robes, drifting over the sands without leaving a trace. The green light of the fire shimmered off the chained body beneath. She scowled at the figure. "Why do you bother with these pointless little tricks?" she said. "Can you truly not help yourself from wearing a disguise at every opportunity? I tire of indulging you. Show me your true form, rat, and skip to explaining why we're here." "Oh, come now, we used to have such fun playing pretend." "Ah, but I suppose you were never one for sentimentality," the spirit said, something like a laugh beneath that final word. To the title drop! The chained man morphed before her eyes, shifting into a more feminine figure in a heavy cloak. It wore a wooden mask that almost perfectly matched her own, smooth and featureless save sharpened eye holes, though it still bore the antlers she had long since broken off. She did her best not to show any reaction, but could not stop one of her fists from clenching. It had transformed into the spitting image of her mentor. "Or maybe you are, and you've merely forgotten how to be honest about anything," the spirit said. She could hear the grin it wore behind the mask. It stared into her eyes for a moment, then laughed and began to morph again. It assumed its typical guise at last, a small silver fox with antlers. "Huh, that's adorable. You're trying to figure out if it's really me or just your mind tormenting you. I'll save you the time, since you seem so impatient tonight. It doesn't matter. You know me so well that this conversation would play out the same either way." "Huh, sorry. Were you hoping I would clarify the situation here? Tell you if it was really me or not, maybe with some little anecdote to go along with it? I'm afraid it's far more fun to keep you guessing." Yep, he's a dick. "There is nothing to discuss. Our bargain is through. I have made the wishes I desired, and you're free," she said, the words bitter in her mouth. "I will have nothing more to do with you." "Come now, you know that's not true," the spirit said with a laugh. "You and we are bound together for the rest of your days. And I suppose now that means all of eternity. Oh, we'll have such fun together, I already know it." That is really cursed. She kept her face as steady as she could as she stared down the fox. If this really was Samik, even the slightest reaction risked giving him enough information to unravel her. "Of course, that all comes from you. Me, I'd be happy to let you go. You already served your purpose as my pawn," the fox continued with a grin. "But you just can't help yourself. I'll be in your head no matter how far you run." "I am no one's pawn," she replied, letting some anger seep into her words. "I helped you only for my own benefit." "Those aren't mutually exclusive, my dear. You know that," the fox sneered. Just like you know, deep down, that's all you really are. A pawn. You tell yourself that you're different, that you'll be the one to outsmart me, that you chose this because you were prepared. Better you take the risk and get something out of it than wait for some fool that doesn't know any better to get duped into aiding me, right? Do you have any idea how many before you have thought that exact same thing? The spirit morphed again, growing into a towering figure cloaked in a silver robe, nothing but piercing green eyes visible beneath its hood. It leaned over to stare directly into her face and hissed, "Because I've lost count." Tense silence hung in the air. She dared to glare back at the spirit. I sincerely don't know what Samik is thinking trying to intimidate her. Like, after what they've been through at this point, there's no way she even cares what Samik thinks in the slightest. Or maybe she's just putting up a brave face. Who knows? "Are you quite finished?" she said. 10,000 other insults and challenges she wished to say hid just behind her lips, but with Samik, knowledge was a weapon, and every conversation was a battle. He's just in it for the love of the game. Fair enough. He has a part to play, and by God, he's gonna play it, because anything else would be so boring. "Did you truly pull me here just to taunt me? You're even pettier than I believed." Yeah, that's probably accurate. Silence again as the spirit stared her down, the world around her seeming to grow darker. Then, in an instant, it laughed and snapped back to being a simple fox. "Ha! You've grown so bold ever since you wished away the moths. I'm not quite sure if I like it yet," the fox said. A sly smile spread across its lips. "You know, I could have easily killed you at any time after you set me free. I could have rejected your wish to live forever, or twisted it into something awful. But I didn't." It cocked its head, still grinning. "Do you ever wonder why?" She stared blankly at the spirit, refusing it to give it any insight. "Ah, what am I saying? Of course you do! It's what I love about you," the fox said, chittering. "To answer your question, I came here to say farewell, my dear. I don't think we'll be seeing each other again for a long time." "And why is that?" "I know you're more clever than that. You certainly can't hide your immortality forever, and you were far too cavalier with your wish this time. They're going to find out about your deception soon enough. And honestly, letting your people starve just for a bit of ancient lore? I'm impressed, but your companions, it's gonna be ugly when they corner you on this." She was struggling to contain her frustration. She had done what she had to do. "You don't need to say anything. I know you'll miss me," the fox said. The green fire was snuffed out, leaving her in darkness. "I'll be eagerly awaiting the day we meet again, little raven." She woke with her fists clenched so tight that they hurt. Alright, and we have a little bit of follow-up on the outlaw's regret. He fled the city without ever looking back, braving the desert with a hollow heart. Even I cannot tell you his fate. I was never able to find a trace of him after that day. A part of me worries he may have found his way to the forest of anguish after what he suffered, and perhaps may be trapped there still. Although I feel as though I sense a part of him in you, some familiar spark deep down, that gives me hope that there was more to the story beyond this parting. All right. And I think that is all of the green text. I think we've done it. All of the teal text. So, one more left in Myriad. And in theory, we have everything we need to solve the puzzle in Kaliman's Folly. And then we can take that knife over to Samik? Way to Kaliman's Folly from here is to Moonglade. And the easiest way to Moonglade is going to be through the fortress ruins, I think. Ooh, boy, I am tired. I'm gonna keep this going, though. I think we're really close to the end, and I want to finish this out. I want to see this through. Here. Do I need a water break? A water break wouldn't be a bad idea. Maybe get some more soda. Water is always good for me. All right, you know what? Let's get into position, head into Calumen's Folly. We'll take a quick break here. I'll get a little bit more caffeine, and I'll refill water. And we'll get into this final solve, because this is really all that's left. But yeah, quick break here. I think at some point during, like, while I was taking notes on some puzzle or another, I pressed the hotkey to reset my timer. Because when I went on break, I was like, timer's at about 2 hours. And then I walked out, and my roommate's like, it's 11. I was like, how? I've lost an hour and a half. What happened? Well, now we know. Okay, so, is there more here now? We have 1. We have 2. Is there going to be a 3? Not as such, no. Accuser, then the deceiver, then the one that fled at the end. So we can, from that, accuser, deceiver, the one that fled is warrior, sage, outlaw. So here we go. Warrior, sage, outlaw. The regret, king that remained and exiled forevermore is outlaw, warrior, sage. So this is outlaw, warrior, sage. So that's what we have. We have 1, warrior, sage, outlaw. 2, outlaw, warrior, sage. But I don't know the problem here, essentially. The real problem is I still don't know how to associate any of these with warriors or outlaws or sages. My guess is that this is sage because it's green. But between blue and magenta, I don't know which would be which, and I don't really see any context clues that tell me, like, oh, this particular podium is the outlaw podium for a reason. Like, I don't see any reason that it would be that thing kind of walking through here. And same thing on the other side. I'm not sure that I see a reason why any one of these 3 podiums would be associated with any one of the 3 particular characters. Like, it's a little tricky. I don't see anything in any of these spots that really indicate it to me. I mean, I guess we have, like, the flags over here kind of have this, like, frog icon. And the flags over here kind of have these sparkles instead. But that's, I don't know how those associate, if those associate. Do those associate in any particular way? Maybe. I don't know if I have seen flags to indicate that kind of information in other places anywhere in the game. Like, I bet I bet there is. I bet there's something here that associates it one way or another. But, like, I really don't have any information, I think. Or at least nothing that comes to mind to associate any of these 3 clickable podiums with any of the 3 founders. So I guess what I'm doing is I'm brute forcing it. I'm just having this, instead of being like Outlaw Sage, whatever, it's, you know, 1, then 2, then 3, then 3, then 1, then 2. And I have to assign 1s, 2s, and 3s in some order, and we'll just try all of the different combinations and see if it works. That's what I got. That's where I'm at. 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2. All right. So let's assume. Which one do I think is the sage? I think the middle one is the sage, honestly. So let's assume that it's left, middle, right. Let's try left, middle, right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2. All right, that wasn't it. So now we try it the other way with 1, 2, 3 from right to left. 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2. All right, so there you go. So warrior is right side. Warrior right, sage middle, outlaw left. So I was right about the sage being the middle. I don't know why I would think that warrior is magenta or outlaw is... I mean, the outlaw is sad about things, and blue is the color of sad. So maybe... I don't know. It's a little... There's a lot going on here. Oh, hey, look! It's Sitlalir. Hecatomb. The achievement is Student of Theogen Kassir. Ah, and it's the 3rd story in the Serpent and the Fox series. Okay, good, good, good. Look at their visions in the fracture. Dim magenta light on the warrior. Yep. And I don't know if it's actually... Oh, illuminated by a dim cyan light. Okay, so there is a call out here to indicate that. I made the right guess, is the important part. Sitlalir, the dreamer's anathema. Let vengeance guide your hand, and unwrite that which was immutable. Okay, actually, though, I do want to go... Where does it talk about here? Sitlalir, the dreamer's anathema, the wishbreaker, the blade that cleaves stars. Let vengeance guide your hand, and unwrite that which was immutable. Rad. All right, so Serpent and the Fox 1 and 2 are the stories about the ants, right? The fox has returned. And this time, the wolf chased away the serpent. So let's go to number 3. In a meadow nestled in a faraway valley, a great many creatures once lived together in harmony. In the absence of the watchful serpent, it had fallen into chaos. The ants still lived in fear of the prowling wolf, turning in folly to the fox for help. He set them against each other for his own amusement, fighting for safe territory and flowers that would keep the wolf at bay. Of course, it was only because of the fox guiding its path that these things were true at all. The serpent looked in from beyond the valley, distraught and hurting. It watched a gentle place turn foul and fester filled with rage. All at the fox's whims, all because the serpent could not stop it. In time, the serpent crept back into the valley, helping where it could. Yet again it fell for the fox's cunning trap, for it would always set the wolf upon the serpent as soon as it found it, and so the ants came to see it as a portent of doom. They shunned the serpent, even as it tried to help, for fear it would lead the wolf right to them. Alone and on the run, the serpent dared to seek aid one last time. The swan had made clear that it was fear of retaliation that stayed its hand, much like the spider, so there was little chance its mind had changed. The Queen of Moths, however, had regained stability for her flock in the time since the serpent was exiled. It's a hecatomb, it is a hecatomb. It's a heckin' tomb! A tomb for a sword, kind of. I guess it's Caliman's tomb, right? I guess she got buried with the sword, with the knife. The subtle knife. It found her watching the sunset near the outskirts of the valley and spoke its plea for help. Would it matter in the end? You thwart the fox returns to strike you back. You chase off the fox chases you off, and soon enough you're right back to start it all again, the moth said in a somber tone. You are chasing each other's tails, forever. How long will you keep up the dance? As long as it takes, the serpent replied, without a moment of hesitation. The moth was silent for a time. The sun dipped below the horizon as night fell upon the valley. I am sorry, I cannot help you. I must keep my own peace among the chaos the fox has sown, the moth finally spoke. It will always return to cause problems again, no matter how many times you beat it down, so long as it gets a moment alone to scheme. The serpent slithered off into the night, well and truly alone. It came across a gruesome sight. A small pit in the ground where a group of ants had been left stranded by their brethren, alongside a slab of meat as an offering to the wolf. A senseless cruelty. The serpent's rage boiled over. It rushed deeper into the woods with blistering speed, searching for its foe. It scoured the glade high and low until it found the fox stopping to drink at the pond. Well, look who's still skulking around, the fox said with a sneer. Still haven't given up, old fool? Hey, watch it! The serpent had no patience for its taunting, and lunged at the fox in outrage. It had made up its mind. This ended here, now. The fox tried to speak again, and was met only by the sting of the serpent's fangs. Then it tried to flee, and the serpent pursued. Under shrubs and through branches up above, the serpent fought through exhaustion to pursue its foe at any cost, as rabid as the wolf. The fox could not shake it. When at last the chase led them to the grove of the great ancient baobab tree, it finally stood its ground. The fox bared its fangs, and the serpent returned in kind. The fight raged on for hours, a lifelong rivalry crystallized in vicious bloodshed. Whenever the fox tried to slip away, the serpent would drag it right back. They had trampled every flower in the grove by the time the battle waned. Give it up already, the fox cried, wounded and limping. You don't have it in you to kill me. Yet the serpent knew this well, and never meant to. It wrapped its tail around the weakened fox and dragged it down into a hollow in the baobab's trunk. Then, before the fox could muster the strength to leap free, it pushed a boulder up against the tree to block the only exit. The serpent had found wisdom in the Moth Queen's words. This would never end so long as the fox was allowed even a moment to roam free. And so, never again would it be given the chance. The serpent curled up atop the boulder, weary and battered, with no intent on ever moving from its post. It would personally see to it that the fox remained trapped forever. No more, vermin! This ends here, the serpent proclaimed. I will give this valley the peace it deserves, even if that means I cannot know it myself. In the dark hollow of the ancient baobab tree, the fox seethed and cursed its foe. It clawed at the walls, tried all it could to push the boulder aside, to no avail. It was well and truly trapped. Yet, the fox learned much from this. Okay, so the implication here, because the fox, number 1 ends with the serpent sicking the wolf on the fox, and number 2 ends with the fox sicking the serpent on the wolf. The implication then is because the fox has learned much from the serpent trapping the fox, that now the fox has trapped the serpent. Although the serpent looks like he's been killed, I don't think he has. I think the fox has imprisoned the serpent. I think that's where we're at. Whoa! I was just pressing buttons? I didn't realize I had an attack button. Oh. Knife! It's too bad that's not a word. Alright. Well, let's go knife a fox. All right, fox. We've got a date. Well, you've got a date. A certain date. Do I get to skin the fox? I've been told that there's more than one way to skin a fox. Can I get out this way? I cannot. This way, maybe. Nope. Help, I am trapped forever. Wait, am I actually? No, nope, we're good. We're good. Never mind, not trapped forever. Everything is okay. Alright, I know where to go find a fox. We're gonna go to the top of the ziggurat. We're going to reintroduce Samik to Sitlilier and see what he has to say on the matter. Am I going to get a, do you have any idea what you've done? Because I'm excited for that. On the other hand, I feel like I'm in like a little sub-world here. Like this is the fox's world that I've now traveled to. So I don't know how much this is going to do for me here, but go for it. You didn't really think I would let you just walk in and do it, did you? What an anticlimax that would be. Have a little more faith. I'm quite impressed, you know. It's been a joy watching you toil away at this, but I was really starting to think you weren't clever enough to put the pieces together. So be proud. Truly. It took a brilliant mind to get this far. But, well, I can see on your face that you know what comes next. Sorry to say that I've had all the fun I can with this one. The game is through, and I'd rather keep this particular prize locked away. I always did prefer the dark. It's been a pleasure, Serena. Ah, there she is. Took you long enough. It's terribly rude to have hung around this long without so much as a hello to an old friend, you know. Ah, so this is, Aliametra. This is the sage, protecting me from the fox. I must say, though, I'm disappointed. We've played such a fun game here. Then you go and fumble it right at the end. You couldn't just let her die, could you? What a pathetic misplay. I thought I taught you better. What a pathetic misplay. He really does like the word pathetic. That line sounds a lot like Poe from Inscription. I wonder if Poe was some of the inspiration for this character. Wouldn't surprise me. See, now you've gone and spoiled the whole thing. Because it's obvious there's really nothing up your sleeve. This was your whole plan? Did you think I forgot what a tool I made could do? Or that it was still laying around in my city? What a waste of time. But fine, we've come this far. Prove me wrong. Surprise me. Go on then. Give it another go. Arrogant as ever. Ah, just missed. Maybe you'll get it next time. Oh, I can't. There's nowhere else to go? Little too far to the right on that one. Ignore him. Keep trying. So close. Ready to give up yet? I can't imagine how infuriating it must be to stand so close without hope of closing the distance. To have gone through so much, solved every riddle, unraveled every mystery, only to be left helpless with no answer to me lifting my finger. It would be a pity if it wasn't so funny. Go on then, keep dancing for me if you insist. Despair will come soon enough. I can be patient. Don't give up. Okay. Whee! No plan has failed. She can't actually stop me from killing you if I really wanted to, you know. This is more entertaining for now, but how long do you think that will hold? At some point, the answer is just hit the fox, right? There. I see how he's doing that. Still going? Really? Not sinking in yet, is it? Nothing is going to change. There's nothing here for you to use. Your little trinkets will not help you. No puzzling your way out of this one. And if you're waiting on her, you're an even bigger fool than I thought. She's never built a bridge that hasn't burned. She'll toss you aside just as easily as the rest. I'll kill you, find the slowest, most agonizing way to tear you apart, and she'll just sit back, sigh, and think about what she learned. You'll never be spared another thought. And it'll all be for nothing in the end regardless, because even after all this time, she's still never learned how to do anything but play right along with my schemes. I think that's quite enough. Let's put an end to this sad little farce. Yes, end it. Oh! All right, we freed the serpent. As expected. Rise, reclaim, rejoice! Yup, that's Vanoran. Hear my voice and know, the shadows cannot hold. I am Vanoran, shackled no longer. See me and know peace at last. I am light, let it shine triumphant. Savior, champion, paragon. Daughter guided by torchlight, stand proud, stand free. No words meet my gratitude. Your heart is a marvel. Savior of the stars, Serena, let your name be honored for the rest of time. Deracinate, estivate, abdicate. Wow, I don't actually know all those words. Deracinate? Is racinate a word? To remove or separate from a native environment or culture. Estivate? Sleep, basically. To pass the summer. Oh, it's like hibernate, except it's in the summer instead of in the winter. Huh. That's cool. And then abdicate, I think, is fairly clear. Thank you so much for the continued support, Devonok. Welcome back to the adventuring party. Thank you for the 1989-month streak. At least the Berlin Wall fell in this year. Yeah, it had some things going for it. Raven lost to distant shores. The game is yours to play now. No debt but a plea, for all is given. The sky shines forevermore. I do not think I shall speak again. Okay. So now, Aliometra is the raven, just like Samik was the fox. You shield your eyes as you look out at the horizon, all a wonder. There's so much light here, brighter than anything you've ever known. You smile. The long night ends at last. Cool. Yup. Yet the fox learned much from this. Yeah, that checks out. Ben Matisse, huh? Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of sound effects that seem like they would be useful here. Thanks so much for playing my game. I hope you enjoyed your time exploring this weird little world of mine. It was a joy to put together, and it means a lot to know you made it this far. With luck, it brought a little light into your own world. Cute. Until the next journey, take care of yourself. Good. Oh, yes, so the updated title screen. Good. Good. Fantastic. Perfect timing, too. Yeah, just about done with stream. So, great. I'm glad this came together. Yeah, this was fun. It suffers a little bit in that if you get lost, it's kind of a slog. Finding your way back onto the path can be really difficult. And I think with some work, that could be the beast. Like, the beast could do that. But it really needs to not be intrusive if you are on the correct path. Otherwise, it'll just get instantly turned off. Like, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll allow the beast to herd me around for a bit until I was in the middle of doing something and the beast showed up in the zone I was in. And at that point, I was like, no, we're turning off the beast. Because I think it is potentially a really useful tool. Because I think there is some room, and I think it's necessary, actually, for the player to be getting some guidance in-game a little bit more than they're currently getting. I think I don't know how long I would have wandered around looking for that last tablet if I hadn't ended up getting a little bit of help. One last update coming early next year that will add a map of some form. Ooh, yes. And a light hinting system to give a little bit more guidance. Yeah. I kind of like that. I think it would be really cool if at that last stage of the game, when all you need is the 3 tablets to kind of put everything together, you got an extra item that, that, you know, gave you some direction towards either unsolved puzzles or even just like a flash in a room where there's an unsolved puzzle or something like that. I think would be a neat way of doing it. Oh, I had a question for you, actually. Now that the game is over, and I never used the feature that it seemed to imply, what was up with the thing above the place names? There's like this icon above Wishing Chamber here. A raven's feather, that would be really cute. Yeah, that would be great. There's an icon above the Wishing Chamber that's like all these different 3 white pieces, and one of them is orange, and each different zone you're in, a different thing is orange. Does this mean anything? The first time I looked at it, I was like, oh, that's kind of maybe a compass of some kind. But I was never able to figure out whether or not there was any meaning associated with the icon and the way that like it changed from location to location. But I didn't put in a lot of effort towards figuring it out. It just mostly didn't seem like it was coming clear towards anything in particular. So I was wondering if it was actually anything in particular or if it was just for pretty. An extremely simple map to give you some way of orienting yourself a bit. Okay, I could see that, actually. That makes some amount of sense. There's like the 3 major zones around the outside of Artahk. And then there's like the interior area. That's not, it's... Yeah, very simplified. But okay, I could kind of see it. One of the zones showing how they're arranged related to each other. Okay. Yeah, all right. No, that makes sense, and that fits with what I saw. And I don't mind it. I just don't know how useful it is. But if you're planning on some more elaborate map, then I think you're on a path that I appreciate. Whether or not it's the right path, I don't know. I am an aficionado. I am not an expert, but that is definitely something that I'd appreciate once it gets implemented. So that's very cool. But yeah, all in all, thank you, Avenging Condor, for putting this together. This game was very good. It was definitely enjoyable to go through, and I really appreciate games that give you this much lore and give you some kind of incentive to dig through it all, because I really liked kind of piecing together the bits of information from the various bits that I was given. It was a lot of fun. Hooked you to watching to the end. Yeah, there's a lot of lore going on in this game. In terms of like immediate plot, it's sort of, you're in the city, you're trying to figure out what's going on, but all of the world building, the lore really fits together really, really well, and helps set up the incentives that you do actually have. It's really cool. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed watching my playthrough, Condor. Yeah, that's what I'm here for. Hopefully people enjoy it. That is the whole point. Yeah, I think that is probably it for Once Glorious Artahk. Although I'm gonna be thinking about ways in which this could be turned into a randomizer, because I think that would be fun potentially. Like, I think there's a lot of potential here for this to turn into something cool. There's a prologue story on Steam. Okay, I'll have to go check that out at some point. That sounds very cool also. That seems like the kind of thing that I'd want to look at. Is it more about the main character? About what's her name? Sonara? Because that sounds like a thing that I would be interested in. Thank you, Mashana. Very much appreciated. It's one of the things that I try hard to be transparent about because I feel like it makes for good content. So I am glad that it's coming across. But yeah, that's this is gonna be it for me. Gives a bit insight to her as a character. Very cool. I'll definitely check that out at some point. But yeah, I think that's everything that I really had to say about the game. Definitely a good time, and we're gonna be moving on from here.